Welcome back to Uncaged Chaos. I'm Andi, certified life coach and host of this messy, chaotic moment of your day. Here, I talk about life's messiness in the midst of healing, leveling up, and uncaging yourself. Today, we're talking about communication, but not in the way you've heard 100 times before. Because most people aren't struggling with communication. They're struggling with comprehension, the hidden crack in so many relationship foundations. You ever walk away from a conversation thinking, I literally said exactly how I feel? How are we still here and you're not understanding? Like you've explained it, you broke it down, you've even softened it, and somehow they still miss the point. Now you're not just hurt, but you're frustrated as hell because it feels like they're not listening. But here's the truth. They might be listening, they just don't comprehend what you're actually trying to say. Communication is what you say. Comprehension is what they interpret. And interpretation is going to be filtered through their past, insecurities, their own triggers, their expectations. So what you mean and what they hear, two completely different conversations and sometimes even languages. Now let's talk about the part that no one wants to really admit. Because a lot of you aren't communicating authentically either. You're performing your communication. You soften your words, over-explain. You add disclaimers. You say things like, it's not that big of a deal. I don't want you to feel bad. Maybe I'm overthinking. And now your message? Just watered down, unclear, and very easy to misinterpret. And then you get frustrated when they don't understand you. But you didn't actually give them something clear to understand. People pleasing isn't kindness, it's control. And you're trying to control how they feel, how they react, and how they see you by watering what you're trying to communicate down. You sacrifice clarity, and without clarity, there's nothing really to comprehend. Being married for 12 years has forced us to learn this the hard way. And I don't mean cute miscommunication. I mean full-blown raised voices talking over each other, both of us convinced we're making perfect sense and somehow ending up further apart than when we started. There have been so many moments where it would escalate so fast. I'd be trying to say one thing, he'd react to something completely different. And suddenly, we're in a fight that doesn't even match the original conversation. And I remember thinking, how are we even fighting about this right now? That's not what I said. But what we didn't understand back then is we weren't actually arguing about the same thing. We were speaking and hearing through completely different lenses, different histories, different triggers, different meanings attached to the same words. So even though we were using the same language, we were speaking completely different emotional languages. It didn't start changing until we did something that felt almost too simple. We slowed it down. So instead of defending what we meant, we started asking, what did you hear me say? And I'm telling you, those answers were so humbling because what I thought was coming across as I need support was landing as you're not doing enough. What he thought was coming across as I need space was landing as I'm pulling away from you. We didn't fix our communication by talking more. We fixed it by finally understanding what was actually being received. If you actually want to get better at this is a great place to start. Say the thing clean. Drop the disclaimers. Instead of, I don't want to make a big deal, but it kind of hurt, simply just say, that hurt me. Check for comprehension, not agreement. Stop asking, does this make sense? Instead, change it to, what did you hear me say? Translate if needed. If they don't get it, don't just repeat it louder. Say it differently. Don't pull a Moira Rose and just keep repeating to fold in the cheese. And regulate before you communicate. Because if you're triggered, you're not connecting, you're defending. Over-explaining doesn't make you easier to understand. It makes you easier to ignore. I want you to try something this week. Just once, in a real conversation, say what you actually mean. Clean, direct, no cushioning. Then ask, What did you hear me say? And if it's something different than what you're trying to communicate, don't jump in to fix it. Don't defend, just listen. Because that moment right there, that's where the gap starts to show up. And that's where real communication can actually begin. If you want better relationships, you don't need more words. You need better alignment between what you say and what they understand. Because being heard isn't enough. Being understood, that's what creates the connection. And if you're realizing this is something you really struggle with, if you keep finding yourself in conversations that go in circles or feeling misunderstood, no matter how clearly you're trying to speak, this is the exact kind of work I do one-on-one with my clients. We don't just talk about communication, we break down your patterns, your triggers, and how you can start showing up in a way that creates actual connection. You can find more about that in the link in my bio. This is Uncaged Chaos, where we don't just say things better, we understand each other deeper. And remember that being human is the whole fucking point.